The Exorcist wasn't supposed to work. Too violent, too disturbing, too expensive. Studio execs wanted it toned down or shut down. But what happened behind the scenes? Gunfire, curses, broken bones. Here are 20 weird facts about The Exorcist. And they're stranger than fiction. Fact number 1. The studio tried to kill it, twice. In 1971, William Peter Blatty's novel The Exorcist exploded onto bestseller lists. But when he pitched it as a movie, Warner Brothers panicked. A story about child possession and blasphemy? Too controversial. Too niche. Executives feared it would destroy their reputation and bomb at the box office. But Blatty didn't back down. He secured script control and pushed for an unflinching adaptation. Warner reluctantly approved it, until director William Friedkin came on board. Known for his bold, abrasive style, Friedkin demanded creative freedom. That scared the studio even more. They considered pulling the plug again. The only reason the project survived? Blatty took a huge pay cut to keep it alive. He believed in the story and risked everything for it. That gamble turned into a $400 million global phenomenon. The lesson? Don't bet against true believers, even if they're writing about the devil. Fact number 2. A fire destroyed the set, except one room. Midway through production, disaster struck. A mysterious fire broke out on the soundstage, burning nearly everything to the ground. The lights, wiring, and expensive sets were wiped out in a single night. Only one room survived untouched, Regan's bedroom, the very room where the exorcism takes place. Not a scorch mark, not a single damaged prop, just silence. The fire forced a 6-week delay and sent insurance costs skyrocketing. Some blamed faulty wiring. Others whispered it was something darker. Friedkin, never one to avoid superstition, brought in a priest to bless the new set. To this day, no one knows exactly how the fire started, or why Regan's room remained perfectly intact. The cast and crew started using one word for it: cursed. Fact number 3. The budget tripled because Friedkin went rogue. Originally, Warner Brothers approved a modest $4.2 million budget, but by the time filming wrapped, The Exorcist had cost nearly $12 million, almost triple the estimate. Why? One word: Friedkin. The director demanded total control. He reshot scenes dozens of times, rebuilt sets multiple times, and insisted on practical effects that nearly froze the crew to death. He filmed in real cold, not simulated. He built massive rigs and complex hydraulics. Every choice screamed chaos. The studio begged him to rein it in. He refused. He told one executive, "If you want your money back, sue me." And yet, his obsession paid off. The realism, the tension, the physicality, it all made the horror unforgettable. Fact number 4. They hired real priests, against studio orders. William Peter Blatty was a devout Catholic, so when it came time to cast religious roles, he pushed to hire real Jesuit priests, not just actors in collars. Studio executives balked. Audiences won't care, they said. Get pros. But Blatty wouldn't budge. He believed the film's spiritual weight demanded real conviction. He eventually got his way, and even gave priests dialogue input. One of them, Father William O'Malley, not only appeared on camera, but also advised the crew on theology and ritual. Friedkin pushed him so hard, see fact number 7, that he physically shook on camera. Fact number 5. The curse began before cameras rolled. Before a single frame was shot, strange things started happening. A crew member died. The set burned down. Blatty's own assistant had a family emergency that mirrored a scene from the script. People started whispering, "This movie is cursed." Friedkin, though skeptical, took it seriously enough to call in help. He brought a Jesuit priest to bless the production, twice. The second time was after the fire. "It couldn't hurt," Friedkin said later. Even the cast felt it. Some refused to speak about the film for years. Others were spooked by coincidences, lines from the script showing up in real life, or bad luck following them home. The stories grew, and so did the legend. Whether you believe in curses or not, The Exorcist had enough real-world chaos to make anyone wonder. Behind the screams were real accidents, real fights, and real trauma. Fact number 6. The director fired a gun to scare the actors. William Friedkin didn't believe in traditional direction. He believed in fear, real fear. While filming one of Father Karras's intense scenes, Friedkin wanted an expression of genuine shock from actor Jason Miller. So, without warning, he pulled out a revolver loaded with blanks and fired it right next to Miller's head. The bang echoed across the set. Miller flinched, furious. The take was perfect, but Miller wasn't impressed. He allegedly yelled at Friedkin afterward, threatening to walk. Friedkin shrugged. He got the shot. To Friedkin, directing was about pushing boundaries. To the cast, it was psychological warfare. The gun? Just one of many stunts he used to keep the cast on edge. As Friedkin later said, actors don't act fear. You give them fear. Fact number 7. Friedkin slapped a priest across the face, then rolled camera. Father William O'Malley wasn't a trained actor. He was a real Jesuit priest cast to play Father Dyer. During an emotional scene where he delivers last rites to Father Karras, O'Malley couldn't hit the right emotional tone. Take after take, flat. Friedkin lost patience. He walked up to O'Malley, whispered, "Do you trust me?" Then slapped him, hard, across the face. O'Malley staggered, shaken, teary-eyed, and then Friedkin said, "Action." What you see in the film, the trembling hands, the voice cracking, isn't acting. It's raw, stunned emotion, real pain. The slap became infamous. Some called it brilliant, others called it abuse. Either way, Friedkin got what he wanted. And O'Malley, he never acted in a film again. Fact number 8. Linda Blair's spine was injured, and they kept rolling. Linda Blair was only 12 years old when she played Regan. During the violent scenes where she's thrashed in bed, she was strapped to a mechanical rig meant to jolt her around. But something went wrong. The rig broke loose and slammed Blair's back, hard. She screamed, sobbing in real pain. The camera kept rolling. Friedkin used the take. The result? A terrifyingly authentic moment that helped sell the possession as real. The cost? Blair suffered a fractured spine and still deals with chronic pain decades later. She later said the crew thought she was just acting, but she wasn't. She was broken, physically and emotionally. All for a scene that audiences couldn't forget. Fact number 9. Ellen Burstyn's injury was left in the final cut. In one of the film's most violent moments, Regan hurls her mother, Chris McNeil, across the room. Actress Ellen Burstyn wore a harness rig meant to yank her backward. But the stuntman pulled too hard. Burstyn flew across the set and slammed into the floor. Hard. She let out a blood-curdling scream, a scream so intense the entire crew froze. That scream made it into the final cut. What audiences didn't know, she fractured her coccyx. That injury haunted her for years. Burstyn later spoke out about the recklessness. She said she was promised it wouldn't be pulled that hard. But on The Exorcist, promises didn't mean much. Only the shot mattered. Fact number 10. 2 actors died playing characters who die. Jack McGowran, who played drunken director Burke Dennings, died of influenza shortly after finishing his scenes. His character dies mysteriously in the film, neck twisted by the demon. Even stranger, Vasiliki Maliaros, who played Father Karras's elderly mother, also died before the film was released. Her role? A sickly woman whose death drives her son to despair. Both actors died after filming death scenes. Neither would live to see the film's release. And The Exorcist began to feel like more than just a movie. It started to feel haunted. Fact number 11. The vomit hit the wrong actor, and they kept it. The pea soup scene. You know it. You've seen it. Regan turns her head and projectile vomits all over Father Karras. Disgusting. Iconic. Unforgettable. But here's the twist. Actor Jason Miller wasn't supposed to get hit in the face. The special effects team promised the stream would land on his chest, but the rig misfired and blasted him straight in the mouth. His reaction, stunned, furious, disgusted, is 100% real. He reportedly stormed off set afterward, furious at Friedkin and the crew. But Friedkin loved the take. He used it. Of course he did. The vomit? It was Campbell's pea soup. The trauma? That was Miller's. And the audience? Well, they never forgot it. Fact number 12. The spider walk was cut for being too much. One of the creepiest visuals in The Exorcist wasn't even in the original release. The backward spider walk, where Regan crawls down the stairs upside down, blood dripping from her mouth, was cut from the 1973 version. Why? Test audiences laughed. Yes, laughed. The scene was too early in the film, and the wires were visible. It didn't land the way Friedkin wanted, so he pulled it. It wasn't until the 2000 director's cut, with digital touch-ups, that it reappeared. And when it did, it became one of the most iconic horror shots of all time. Fact number 13. The demon's voice was created with whiskey, eggs, and rage. That demonic voice? It wasn't a sound effect. It was a woman. Actress Mercedes McCambridge was handpicked to voice the demon.
Strike Terror Lord into the beast.
To make her voice sound otherworldly, she went to disturbing lengths. She chained herself to a chair, smoked cigarettes nonstop, ate raw eggs, and gargled whiskey. She recorded her lines under self-inflicted torment to channel the pain of possession. And then, she wasn't credited. Warner Brothers left her name off the first 30 film prints. McCambridge sued. She won. Her name was finally restored after sage arbitration. So next time you hear the devil's voice in that film, remember, it was a woman, drunk, gagging, and forgotten, until she made sure the world remembered her. Fact number 14. They filmed in real churches without permission. Authenticity was everything to Friedkin. So when it came to shooting sacred scenes, he didn't want studio sets. He wanted real churches. The problem? Most of them said no. The solution? Stealth. The crew snuck into real churches during open hours, set up cameras quietly, and filmed without permits. They used long lenses, natural light, and fast takes, then vanished before anyone noticed. That's right. Parts of The Exorcist were filmed, illegally, in churches. And while no lawsuits were ever filed, it added yet another layer to the film's chaotic, rule-breaking legacy. The devil wasn't the only one trespassing. Fact number 15. The demon's face came from the trash. Those quick flashes of the demon's white skeletal face, the ones that pop up like nightmares throughout the movie, they weren't planned, and they weren't even made for The Exorcist. While rummaging through old studio reels, Friedkin found a discarded test reel of horror makeup from a different, canceled project. He was obsessed with the image and cut it into several scenes as subliminal flashes. The result? Audiences didn't always know what they saw, but they felt it. That brief, ghostly face? It stayed in their heads, long after the film ended. Sometimes cinematic genius comes from the garbage, literally. The film ended, but the effects, they never really stopped. Fact number 16. People fainted, vomited, and ran out of theaters. When The Exorcist hit theaters in 1973, it caused absolute panic. Moviegoers screamed, ran out mid-scene, and vomited in the aisles. One woman reportedly fainted and broke her jaw. Another claimed she had a miscarriage. Paramedics were called. Some theaters had ambulances waiting outside, just in case. Others handed out Exorcist barf bags as a sick marketing gimmick. The hysteria wasn't just marketing hype. It was real. Doctors called it cinematic trauma. Priests called it demonic influence. Whether you believed in demons or not, one thing was certain. No movie had ever done this to people before. Fact number 17. It was banned in multiple countries for years. Censorship boards around the world didn't know what to do with The Exorcist. The UK gave it an 18+ rating, but later pulled it from shelves entirely. Singapore banned it. Lebanon, Malaysia, and parts of the Middle East refused to show it. In Germany, it was only allowed in certain regions, and only at night, and only if the cinema had medical staff on standby. Yes, seriously. Warner Brothers called it a global controversy. The church called it a spiritual hazard. And audiences? They just wanted to see what the fuss was about. When something's banned, people only want it more. Fact number 18. A real-life killer was in the movie. There's a moment in The Exorcist that shows Reagan undergoing a brutal medical procedure, an angiogram. The technician performing it wasn't an actor. He was a real radiology assistant named Paul Bateson. Years later, Bateson was convicted of murdering a film critic. But that wasn't all. He was also suspected in a string of grisly killings known as the bag murders, where dismembered body parts were found in trash bags across New York. The irony? That medical scene was already considered one of the most disturbing in the film, but the real horror wasn't fiction. Fact number 19. It sparked a global boom in exorcisms. After The Exorcist premiered, Catholic priests across the globe reported a surge in exorcism requests. In some parishes, people lined up outside churches, begging for spiritual cleansing. The church was overwhelmed and completely unprepared. By the late 70s, the Vatican had to revise its exorcism protocols. They issued new training, rules, and psychological screenings to prevent abuse and hysteria. In short, a fictional film caused a real-world religious crisis. Even today, some exorcists say they were inspired to join the church because of the movie. So, did The Exorcist unleash demons? Maybe not, but it definitely awakened something. Fact number 20. Friedkin said he'd do it all again. Decades later, when asked if he regretted the pain he put his cast through, the broken bones, psychological trauma, emotional manipulation, director William Friedkin didn't flinch. No, he said, not a second of it. It gave the film its power. He stood by the slap, the gunfire, the freezing cold, even the on-set injuries. To him, it was all worth it for what ended up on screen. The Exorcist wasn't just a film. It was an exorcism of Hollywood restraint, a raw, dangerous, uncompromising piece of cinema. And Friedkin, he wouldn't change a thing. It started with chaos. It ended in legend. The Exorcist wasn't just made, it was unleashed. If you love dangerous filmmaking, cursed sets, and the kind of movie trivia that makes your jaw drop, stick around, because this is just the beginning. Hit subscribe. We're diving deeper into Hollywood's darkest corners.